And a good morning to you. Welcome. It's Martin, Jeff, and the Farmchick coming to you high atop the Eagle Building in beautiful downtown Goodland on Eagle Cable Channel 10, KLOE AM radio, and we stream the World Wide Web from our Martin, Jeff, and the Farmchick Facebook page. Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, it's the cow guy sitting in on our kind of last minute show.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be here. But it takes only one of me to replace two of them. And that's something?
That's a good way to look at it.
Of course, I weigh about the same as those two combined, so whatever.
Yeah.
That little girl that's on the other side of the table, I don't think she weighs 80 pounds.
Yeah. Little girl is right. Hey, our show is being brought to you by The Insurance Agency, Northwest Tech, Elliott's Home Furnishings, Eckland Insurance, LLC, and Goodland Sonic Drive-In, and we are having a little Sonic concoction here this morning.
Yes, I like this morning. I mean, it's good. Ice cream is good for breakfast, so I brought you in. This is an orange cream slush. It's really good.
Makes a really nice breakfast thing.
It is. Ice cream's good any time of the day, but anyway, I kind of like these things, so I thought I'd bring you in and let you have one.
Very refreshing drink.
Yeah.
For a summer day.
So you can have them for breakfast, the dinner, or the noon meal, as I call it, and then supper. It's good every day, part of the day.
Yeah. Do you ever go? Of course, you work in all hours of the night, but I like to sneak out there after 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
At night.
These are like half price then.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
So it's always.
See, we got our cows are down in Wallace County, and I got this family that's pretty close. They're kind of our neighbors, and there's a little boy who's going to be like in second grade, and he's kind of adopted me a little bit, and so I tell him the best thing about where I live from down there at the ranch is that there's a Sonic between my place and the ranch, so I can go there as I go, or I can hit it as I come home. So
perfect.
It's good.
Yeah. Sorry, as I.
It's good stuff.
Slurp up a couple more spoonfuls. So, while we're kind of stuffing our faces here this morning, you're kind of pumped up about food in general.
Yeah,
right?
I like food. Because see, the other day I was able to take care of my grandson. I have two, but I got to take care of one of them. Everybody had to go somewhere, and so I volunteered to do it. I had a blast, and well, anyway, he came up and fell asleep in my arms, and I got to watch the Trisha Yearwood cooking show for like an hour. She had two shows right in a row, and I learned a few new tricks, and it was pretty good.
By the way, I think I've seen that grandson, and he's a doll.
He is. Both of them are dolls, but
yeah.
This is the oldest one, but he's the littlest one.
Yeah.
This is the one I got to take care of. So anyway, it was neat.
That's always
he likes me.
Fun.
Both my grandsons really like me.
Oh, that's good. So Trish Yearwood was she's the wife of Garth Brooks, and she's a Kansan too.
No, I did not know. No, she's not from Kansas.
Yes, I think so.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
She's from the South. She's from down south. We have to Google it.
I'll Google
it. You're thinking of Tina McBride.
Yeah.
She's from Kansas, I think.
I think there were a couple of them.
But you think Trish is from Kansas
too? I could be wrong. I'm wrong most of the time. So.
But anyway, I'm glad she got this cooking show because I don't know if her husband has enough money to provide for her, to keep her going.
Yeah.
They do a close-up of her when she's doing things with her hands, and she's got, I'm not a diamond expert, but I know that is one big rock on that finger. That's a big one.
Well, it's interesting because she, you're right. Georgia.
Yeah, I thought she's from down south.
From Georgia.
Because she did one of the shows she did it on Steel Magnolia, that movie, Steel Magnolias. And so her and her sisters were all talking in Southern accents and having a ball doing it.
Right.
So,
yeah, Martina McBride. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yep.
Okay.
Sarah Evans, I think, is from Kansas too, though. I think there's a couple of them from Kansas that are really good.
And I guess she's still married to Garth Brooks.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So she's listed as a singer, author, actress, and chef.
Yes.
So.
And the food she cooks, I think, it's really good. It's basic kind of food, and she has guests on there. But anyway, she was doing this one. It was kind of Louisiana stuff. It's called that slow boil. You get the big pot on the stove, and you put your potatoes in first, and then you let that come to a boil. Then you like put your onions in, let it come to a boil. She keeps adding stuff to it, and she puts sausage in it, and then she puts some shrimp in it.
Don't they put some corn in it?
Yeah,
too?
corn on the cob,
Mm-hmm.
and all this, and then but she never really said how long it takes. So I didn't catch all that part, but I know she has to put like the potatoes in first because they take longer to cook. So you kind of do it that way. And then that shrimp only takes like a couple minutes.
Right.
So you boil that, and then you pour all that stuff out on the table, and man, it looked good.
Everybody kind of
Yeah.
picks it up and puts it
I
on.
like to do that. I've seen those guys, advertise that cream can or the milk can
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah.
It's kind of along the same line, but
There's some people around here who do that cream can thing.
that would be good. I'd like to try that.
So do
too.
you like shrimp?
I like to eat some
Being-
shrimp if it's done right. Yeah.
Being a cow guy,
Yeah, I eat some shrimp. Shrimp's okay.
you've got a pretty good palate for interesting things, unlike a lot of meat and potato guys I know.
I like to eat. I like food, and I like to watch them how they prepare it. And the biggest thing about food is just make sure there's lots of it. I couldn't go to one of them restaurants where they serve that little tiny pieces. Or the little tiny food. I don't want to live in a tiny house, and I don't want to eat tiny food. How's that?
Yeah, I think the tiny house thing is. Oh, I'm not going to go there. But yeah, I'm same way. I'm probably a little more adventurous than you would be, but
Might be.
there's not a lot of opportunity to be too adventurous around here.
No.
There's a pretty good restaurant in Burlington that's you've been to it.
Yeah, I have. It's good. They do some adventurous food.
Yeah, and so that, and I like Oriental Asian food, Chinese and
I have sweet and sour pork.
um,
Can you believe that?
sweet and sour.
I get the same thing every time.
Yeah, you've eaten it. We've eaten at the Chinese restaurant
Yeah.
here. So, so that's interesting because you are a producer of food,
Yeah.
and so that's good that you should be interested in food. The big craze, the big fad, I call it kind of a fad. It's more going on in the eastern part of the country is what they call the food to table concept with restaurants.
Everybody wants to know where their food comes from.
Right. A lot of these little restaurants, like I said, usually on the East Coast and in the bigger cities, are buying food from local farmers.
Yes.
And they document every piece of food they get, where it comes from, whether it be meat or fish or potatoes or bread or whatever.
Around the big urban areas, that's getting to be really big, and guys with those can seem to make a pretty good living doing that kind of deal. That's what.
Well, it's a nice concept, but it doesn't work out here.
No,
it's just not possible to. You can have fresh foods, but you can't have locally grown.
We have locally grown fresh foods for just maybe a month or two out of the year.
Right.
That's about it. For the whole meal.
Right.
So, but a lot of people like on the meat thing. A lot of guys are selling beef that, you document when the calf was born and the whole deal where he's raised, and people like to do that.
In a lot of cases, they're doing all organic stuff.
Yes.
Whether it be vegetables or meats. So.
And that's fine. If they want to do that, it's good. The only thing that bothers me about that organic thing is that the people, when they advertise organic, they make all the rest of the food look bad. It's kind of like bad advertising as far as I'm thinking, but because if the whole world had to be fed on organic food, we'd all be starving. A bunch of us would be starving. That's just the way it goes.
I'll tell you this. I think, my opinion, because I grow a lot of vegetables, I think organically grown supermarket vegetables don't taste any better than non-organic supermarket vegetables.
Probably not.
Neither of them have come even close to a homegrown. An heirloom tomato at Whole Foods once. Just went in there just to do that because I wanted to see what it was like. And of course, it was $5 for one tomato.
Yes.
First of all, and then it still had that what I call a produce section twang to it. It just, kind of a, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It tasted good. It was a good,
But for $5,
quality.
you wanted something different.
Right.
You would have liked a little more. Whole Foods, speaking of Whole Foods, I think it was just purchased by the guy who started Amazon.
Yeah.
I think he
so.
took it over. And Marty, I've been in Whole Foods a couple times. I go
Yeah,
there.
me too.
Because, not to buy the food, I go there to watch the people, because there are some really strange people go to Whole Foods now.
That's right. Well, I bought a few things there. I I had to stay in a motel next to one for a few days a couple of years ago, and I got a couple meals out of there. It was really good. They get kind of a buffet kind of thing, but it's too expensive for my taste. And it's and the homegrown. My whole point is that homegrown. I grow heirloom tomatoes too, and they are 20 times better than a supermarket tomato. I don't care if it's organic or non-organic. That's my point.
And far as the nutritional value goes, I don't think there's much difference between an organic tomato and a regularly grown tomato.
Mm-mm.
When you break it all down. And so we can feed the world with a 10-cent tomato or a $5 tomato, and that's what the difference is. So.
Bought a head of organic lettuce one time, again, just for the heck of it, and went to clean it, and there's a bug in there.
Yeah.
The average housewife would just go crazy seeing a bug in her produce, but that's what you're going to get if you buy organic stuff.
Yes.
Sometimes, not all the time. I mean,
I grow sweet corn, and of course mine is Roundup Ready, BT, sweet corn. And it's planted with a tractor that burns diesel fuel, and I sprayed the weeds, sprayed the bug. But it's the most beautiful sweet corn in the world. I mean, it's a great big old ear with big old, no bugs in it. It's fabulous. Now, if you want to grow regular sweet corn, it's going to be kind of a shrunken up ear, crooked on the cob, going to have bugs in it, and silkworms get in it. You know what I mean? So if you guys want to eat organic sweet corn, that's fine, but I'm going to eat my really good sweet corn. That's what I'm going to do.
And okay, so I'll counter that because most of what I grow in my garden ends up being organic, mainly because I don't see the need to spray it.
Yeah.
I will use chemicals. Trying to think of the one that's common that we use a lot, for squash bugs and potato beetles. Seven dust. So I'll use that, and if I need to. But so my corn is pretty much all organic, and I have to cut off the very top of the cobs because there's an earworm in there. Normal. Again, the average housewife would freak out and think that's gross, but that's what you get when you're going to grow organic. I think most of the time. I know there's some organic farmers that seem to have a way of keeping bugs out of their produce, but
organic farming, I mean, more power to them if that's what they want to do.
Sure.
Just the part that bothers me is that when they advertise organic, they make all the rest of the crops sound like they're evil, and that's not right, guys. If you want to do that, I mean, if you want to promote the benefits of yours, that's fine, but don't be tearing down everybody else's products.
Well, and the same goes for the GMO stigma.
Yes.
Same thing, I think. You'll see even in my seed catalogs for garden vegetables, there'll be a note that says these are non-GMO seeds.
Yes. Yeah.
Organically grown, and I throw that seed catalog away. Yeah. So what?
It doesn't matter. From the beginning of time, we've been changing plants. Trying to make them better. I mean, it's been that way forever. So I mean, we have over the years, plants evolve, and you change them, and you make them better, and you breed them to be better, and all these guys have been able to do is to speed up the process when it's called GMO, and so they got a really bad rap, and that's too bad. It's just it was fake news stuff is what it was when they ran GMO stuff in the ground, but I just know that with the population growing as fast as it is in the world, the only way we're going to be able to feed the population is with genetically modified crops, because we got to keep making them better. We got to be able to make more bushels on less ground with less water, less fertilizer, less input costs. And that's how we're going to do it, is to be able to do it with seeds. And with GMOs crops, they're able to use less insecticides, less pesticides, all this stuff that they can use less of in this world, and it's just by manipulating some of the organisms in the seed, and so and that's the way it goes. But I also saw a show the other night talking about modification, this CRISPR. Have you heard what they can do with humans' DNA now?
Uh-uh.
You need to check out Google CRISPR sometime, and it's coming down the pike. They can actually work on people's DNA, like to help cure cerebral palsy or these genetic defects in a person's body. And so basically it's the same thing as genetically modifying plants. They're going to be able to do it to humans too. And
how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, if I had a loved one that had a crippling disease and they could fix it, I would be all for it. Now I suppose the big companies will get a hold of it, and and you could make all your babies look exactly the same if you wanted to, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But there's pros and cons to everything. But if we can heal the sick, that's going to be really good.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm on board with that, but to a certain degree. Getting back to hybridized vegetables specifically, you wouldn't want to eat a tomato that was grown in 1867.
no.
It would not be anything even remotely close to what we grow today. And sweet corn didn't really exist until probably the 1900s in a really decently edible way.
Yep.
Everybody thinks that sweet corn goes back till the beginning of time. Well, it didn't. The varieties that my dad talks about that he grew as a kid, they ate it, but it's not even. I'm trying to think of one of the varieties, Iowa or Iowa Chief or something. But as the years go by, and now you've got the super sweets that are just, incredible.
Yeah. So we keep making plants better. That's what we're supposed to do, and and scientists have been able to do that, and so with new technology, I think we'll keep trying to feed the world.
Now, do you ever watch any of those bizarre foods type shows?
Never have. I've seen them advertised, maybe watched a little clip of it, but I've never really watched them too much. Do you?
Yeah.
Really?
I do. I talk about being adventurous. This Andrew Zimmern is the bizarre foods guy.
Okay.
And he'll go too far for my palate. But there's some things there that he's eating that are very popular that I would like to try. Sometimes I'm trying to think of what. Trying to think of the seafood, sea urchin.
Oh, really?
Sea urchin is
a real animal? Is it
right.
urchin? Okay.
And it's
didn't know that.
It's pretty much eaten, I think, uncooked. It's eaten fresh, but it's very popular. I've seen it on many different kinds of food type shows. That is something that I would be willing to try, but Andrew Zimmern will pull off a barnacle off a rock, open it up, and eat the thing raw right out of the.
What's in the barnacle?
Oh, it's kind of like a mollusk of some kind of.
Really?
Like
and he eats that?
Yeah, you'll eat them right out of the shell, out of the ocean.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't even have enough nerve to eat a pickled pig's foot or a pickled egg. I just can't quite.
Well, you and I tried to eat a pickled quail egg one time on this show.
Yeah, we did, and it was nasty, wasn't
it?
It was really bad.
Yeah. I don't know why do they pickle eggs? I guess they did it back in the old days because they couldn't preserve them or something.
I suppose, but that wasn't too good. But I know of people that just love them.
You being a cattle producer, do you ever try various kinds of offal? What I'm talking about? Organ meat, whether it be kidneys or heart. Or
I like the liver. I can eat liver. I like tongue.
I do
It's
too.
Pretty good. Tongue's pretty good.
Tongue's good. I've had beef heart before, and I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I probably have, but I don't really remember that. And
I've never tried kidney.
But see, most of those parts that are processed, Americans don't like those kind of meats. Mm-hmm. So like the people over in Russia and China and those kind of people, their palates set up, and so we can export a lot of that kind of stuff overseas. And benefits it, but the American people don't really eat it.
Even the British, the English and the Scots, they they have old-fashioned dishes where they eat a lot of that kind of stuff and still do.
Now, there was a product called sweetbread, and that was basically the brain of the cattle.
Right.
Now, as a kid, I remember we'd go to the American Royal Stock Show down there, and we'd have that for breakfast. But you can't buy that anymore, I don't think, because of the, I don't know, something that happened. So.
Oh, it was the mad cow disease. Yeah.
But anyway, I always thought that was pretty good. You know, but
I've never tried that.
And then Rocky Mountain oysters, I guess that's getting way out there for some people, but I like those if they're cooked right. But there's a lot of the meat byproducts that are pretty good.
When I was a junior high kid, my dad took me and a friend with him to Washington for a broadcast meeting. We went out with a big broadcaster, took us to a fancy French restaurant. Everything was in French, and even then I was trying to be adventurous, and I picked a menu item, and I said that's what I want. I couldn't pronounce it. The waiter talked me out of it. It was calf's brains.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a problem with it. I was ready to try it, but he wouldn't let me do it.
He wouldn't.
No, he said you will not like this, young man. So probably had a hamburger and French fries.
Yeah, that's probably what you got
at a French restaurant, which
is good. But I mean, it's kind of nice to. That's like when we go to, if we could go to Denver and if we can try a nice steakhouse or something a little different. It's kind of neat to do every once in a while. Try something different. But the best cooking I ever get, and I'm not just saying this because I'm married to the lady, but my wife can really make, really good food, so it's the basic kind of, just really, really, really good food. So
I would have to second that, and I know I'm not going to offend my wife because she says the same thing. She thinks your wife is one of the best cooks on the planet.
She's really good, and so there's some neat stuff. I always told her she missed out. She should have the TV cameras should have came to her house instead of that gal in Oklahoma.
Yeah, she could be she ought to enter one of them Food Network contests where you go and you notice they always have just young people doing those things.
Yeah,
those kind of reality type shows. There's none of the old people like us.
No, we're just has-beens.
Just don't have any appeal. So I got to ask a little bit about the wheat harvest. Is wheat harvest getting close?
Yeah, it's really close. I think, last week they started cutting wheat up in Cheyenne County, but they always start earlier than we do up there.
Yeah.
And then, but as far as my own personal wheat harvest, there's not much left. Between the hail and the freeze and the wheat streak mosaic, and we probably only have about 1/10 of the acres left that what I planted to harvest. And I had a insurance agent the other day tell me or adjuster. He said he thinks that 73% of the wheat in Sherman County is gone today.
Wow,
that's a bunch of wheat.
That'll have an impact.
Yes, that's a lot of wheat. So it'll be amazing. And the wheat that's still left, though, I think looks good. But we had that late freeze, and when you have a late freeze, you really don't know how much is left out in the field.
Right.
Some fields will probably be affected. I'm sure there's going to be some 70, 80, 90 bushel wheat out there, and there's going to be some 10 bushel wheat. So
we go ahead and harvest what you have.
Yeah, we got a few acres left to harvest, and I told my harvester that if he wanted to skip me, we could probably find somebody else. But no, he wants to stop and cut the wheat, and he said it's been really bad all the way. They start down there in Oklahoma and work the way up, and he says it's pretty much fair to pour far as the number of acres that they're able to cut this year. It's been a tough year all the way through. And he's from North Dakota, and they're in a drought up there. A really, really bad drought. So,
And it's been amazing the way it's been here. I went up into the Overland area the other day, and it's green everywhere.
Yep.
The whole area has gotten lots of rain. There are lots of really full ponds, off this down in the gullies and stuff that look like it could be there all summer long, and so it's been gardening wise, it's been a really strange year. We didn't get things finally planted until a week or so ago, and corn is just barely coming up. Beans, tomatoes planted late.
Yep, that's the way she goes, and it's been a really strange year, and we always laughed about that. The old wise tale was you have a spring blizzard that breaks a drought. Well, I guess that one we had the end of April, 1st of May was a real blizzard, and it might have broke the drought. But when we live in this part of the world, we're only one day closer to the next drought. I mean, it's just a dry, arid country,
right.
So we got to enjoy the weather while we can.
It's been great not having to water my lawn.
Yep.
When you live in the town, you got to pay for water.
Yeah, somebody told me that the other day. He says, "Well, we haven't had to water our yard, so I suppose the city's going to jack up the rates on water to make so much money." You know, so it'd be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, I wouldn't think they would, but
let's hope not.
I don't know what. But it's been nice not having to do that. Of course, been a little hot, so the air conditioning's been running. Anything else? What do you foresee for the rest of the summer? Anything you can think of? Cattle?
Well, I
cattle okay?
tell you, I hope this weather kind of straightens back out. I mean, it's been so erratic, and
we need hot weather now, don't we?
Yeah, you know, but I like it. You're going to get what you're going to get, and so you got to take advantage of what you have. So that's all you can do. I mean, I run into people that just stew about the weather all the time, and they eat it this way, they eat it that way, and you know, after a while you get to laughing at them because you know they can't really do anything about it.
No.
They're just going to get what they get.
Right.
And so you need to kind of direct your thoughts to maybe something you can do constructive. So
yeah.
Instead of worry about the weather so much. So, but it'll be interesting because we'll just see what happens.
Yeah. Any of your kids plant a garden this year? You have
yes,
a daughter-in-law.
I have a daughter-in-law that plants a garden. Well, I think both of them did. In fact, well, I have 3 daughter-in-laws now, but the 2 that live here at Goodland, they each plant some stuff in their backyard stuff, you know. So
very good.
I think, in fact, the one got a big pumpkin patch going, and so it'd be interesting to see how that goes. And so, but we don't. My wife and I, we don't plant a garden. No, we don't do the garden thing. You know,
when would you have time to tend to a garden?
I don't know. We did it a few years, and that's kind of what we kind of decided that gardening that takes a lot of time.
Well, you know, my dad points out, he writes his stories, you know, about growing up on the farm. His parents, for the most part, they might have prepared the bed or maybe even planted some of it, but it was he and his brother as kids into their teen years that did all the work, did all the weeding, did all the watering, you know. So we don't have that.
Yeah.
Our kids are too busy.
Yeah.
So.
I guess that's what. But that garden thing takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So more power to the guys that can grow a good garden, and I'll go raid your garden sometime when you got it ready to go, and I like to go to the thing they have on Main Street, the farmers market.
Yep.
I like to stop by there and check out what they have because fresh food's kind of cool.
I bet your wife can do some amazing things with zucchini.
She loves zucchini. She does she makes zucchini bread that's out of this world.
We'll have to get you some of that.
Yeah.
So. All right, Cow Guy, we're out of time. It's been
that went fast, didn't it?
Wonderful having you here.
And I've talked so much I haven't been able to eat all my orange cream slush, so I'm going to finish that up.
We got to do that, our Sonic orange cream slush. We'll finish that up here. Thanks for coming in, and
you bet.
Have a good time the rest of the summer. Hopefully we'll talk to you again before fair.
Yeah, we could get around for the fair show. I like that. It's coming around the corner.
Martin, Jeff, and the Farmchick brought to you by Goodland Sonic Drive-In, Eckland Insurance, LLC, Elliott's Home Furnishings, Northwest Tech, and The Insurance Agency here on Eagle Cable Channel 10, KLOE AM Radio, and we stream on the World Wide Web from our Facebook page, Martin, Jeff, and the Farmchick. Like us on Facebook. And we'll be back again next week here on Martin, Jeff, and the Farmchick.